Now that we're comfortably situated into hard mode, it's time to get into the meat of this mod pack. If you're here, you've likely seen the last 4 videos, but if you haven't, as usual, I'll do a quick recap. Last year, Thorben spent an entire year on Oneworld. He, however, only spent around 100 hours on it. Since I have absolutely no life, I decided to do what he did, quintuple the length to 500 hours, and add a bunch of content mods. Here are the big 7, along with some mods up with compatibility and balancing. If you want to know the entire mod pack, it's in the description. Did you cancel that? No? Too bad, the intro is now over. Let's get on with it. Alright, so today is going to start off at a breakneck pace, and for good reason too. After 2 months, we are finally getting an armor upgrade worthy of our build. The issue, however, is that it's blocked behind a mechanical boss. I decided that our mech of choice would be the twins due to them being first in the boss checklist. They're not nearly as difficult as a lot of the fights we've been doing, but the 300,000 combined health pool made them tanky. That, however, wasn't even the issue. There was a few other annoyances that made this fight fairly difficult. For one, there's the debuffs. Cursed Inferno negates all of our life regeneration since it's a damage over time debuff, and Ichor drops our defense by 20. Our playstyle relies on our defensive capabilities heavily, even when using a more offense-focused set like Nakomi, so these were big deals. I decided that in order to counter these debuffs, we should bring back our old friend, the Cactus Fruit. For those who didn't watch episode 2, the Cactus Fruit nullifies any vanilla non-damaging debuff, and will give you 40 seconds of immunity to them. It won't do anything to help Cursed Inferno, but it does nullify Ichor, so I'd use it whenever we got infected with it to keep us as tanky as possible. The other issue is Retinazer in Phase 2. Spasmism just continuously dashes, which, while annoying, isn't too hard to dance around because he just dashes in straight lines. But Retinazer is so much worse, now being equipped with a cannon to shoot energy balls at us. These shots don't have super aggressive homing, no. That would actually make them too easy to dodge. No. They have just light enough homing, alongside speed ramping, in order to consistently trip me up. I was getting hit over and over and over again, but eventually, I got off a well-timed adrenaline hit to take us past our first boss fight in May. We got the Twin Staff to replace the Chaotic God and Cryogen summons, but that's not what we came here for. With a heavy heart and tears in our eyes, we decided that the time had come to retire our Nakomi armor. We now have access to the old one's army set, and the Squire armor, which is replaced with Countess armor in my texture pack, is a major improvement over the Nakomi armor. We grab it and the Ballista came before quickly putting together a new look after months of using the same one. We also pick up the Titanium enchantment, which will put a ring of titanium shards around us, just like the set bonus, but when all of the rings are up, we get a slight bit of defense against contact damage and projectiles in close range. So it's just kind of overall just a good extra defensive buff now that we no longer need the Sparkling Adoration. After spending some time to gather Life Fruit and completing a Solar Eclipse, Skeletron Prime was up next. Yeah, this fight's easy. Like, barely changed from vanilla easy, actually. I only died once due to forgetting about the Dungeon Guardian phase at the end. Well, while the winning attempt plays, actually, I should probably explain our new Stellar Nova. Guardian's Light. This was the one I had talked about possibly using last episode. It gives different effects depending on what damage type you set your Stars Above weapons to do, known as aspected damage types. For melee, it causes you to rush forwards at a high speed and barrel into whatever enemy you hit first, dealing massive damage. We ended up eventually learning that this is high pierce too, but that's not the best part. We also get 3 seconds of invincibility upon activation. Unless we find something very, very good soon, this may be our best Stellar Nova for a long time. It's also, sure as hell, less laggy than Unlimited Blade works, because it's a lot less projectiles. With Skeletron Prime dead, we got another summon, Mini Prime. It's literally just a tiny Skeleton Prime. It even uses the same sprites as Master Mode pet. It does way more damage than the twins too. So the Optic Staff has, funnily enough, already been replaced. With Prime Dad, it was time to do some wrap-up. First up, purification. We now have the Steampunker, which gives access to the Contaminator and basically large bombs of green solution. This allowed us to purify the entire world, minus some areas like the Biocube that we didn't want to purify, in about 2 hours. And to end off the stream, we decided to fight the Old One's army now that we had the stuff for it. It was easy. End of story. Literally nothing else to talk about. I basically AFK'd most of it, only jumping down to kill the ogre to get the loot. Next! Yeah, you saw that title card right. We're already on week 2. And this week also only has one stream. Last week was, I mean, it was just a short week. We started on, like, Wednesday. But there were actually going to be 2 streams this week. But due to some issues on Monday, we had to cancel. I'll get into that today. Today, we're going to hopefully get some building done. We have many NPC prisons that we need to clear out, so I wanted to slowly work on removing them over the course of this month. This is totally because I felt bad for the NPCs and not because I'm procrastinating working on the gallery. No! So to start, we finally finished that outline for the Banished House in the Desert Village. It's not super unique or anything, but I felt that the coins conveyed all that it needed to. Plus, a petty thief would want an unassuming house to prevent suspicion anyway. When that was completed, we finally finished Mechanical Manor, since we now actually have the Mech Boss NPCs. All we did was replace their trophies and relics, as well as adding their costumes to the mannequins. With that down, it was time to completely disregard what I was saying and challenge the last Mech Boss, the Destroyer. You see, the reason we didn't stream on Monday was because of an audio glitch that would keep happening. Due to what is probably a corrupted audio file, the sound would cut out towards the end of the Destroyer fight 100% of the time. I don't really know what caused it. The corrupted audio is honestly just a guess based on some Reddit posts with similar stories, but for Cryogens instead of the Destroyer. But we did eventually take it down anyway. This boss fight is weird, but manageable. The stuff that would really get me is accidentally hitting its head, and this attack where it circles around me while firing lasers and the same stupid energy projectiles that Red Nazer has. Even then, we got a new weapon while looking through our unused essences called the Armaments of the Sky Striker, which really helped us. It's a set of 4 different weapons you can pick between, each of them having their own purpose. Red gives you a flaming sword a la the Shish Kebab from Fallout that you can use to cut through foes for high damage, albeit with reduced defense to compensate. Blue gives you a shield that adds 20 defense, reflects 80% of damage back to the attacker, and while holding it destroys nearby projectiles with a 2-second cooldown. This is honestly the best of the 4 weapons, and is the main reason I'm holding on to it. Yellow makes you launch into a barrage of close-ranged punches, with a claw striking out every critical hit to pierce enemies. And lastly, green is a fucking railgun that shoots through enemies with high pierce and high damage, as well as a massive critical hit modifier that doesn't double damage, but quadruples it. The blue and green settings helped carry me to victory against the Destroyer, allowing hallowed bars and chlorophyte. If you're curious, by the way, the other 2 kind of suck. I'm gonna put that out now if you ever wonder why the melee player isn't using the melee options of this item. We immediately craft the dubious circuitry for its effects, giving us things like probes to attack enemies and a way to supercharge us. Basically, if we get hit with energized projectiles, we sort of... How do I really describe it? You just kind of burst into like a swarm of energy, the probes attack much faster, and you have lightning flying out of you. It's cool, very on brand. We then start crafting a new slew of weapons for our arsenal. To start, we grab the True Knight's Edge as we already had the materials for it. Off topic, which funnily enough is actually in a scripted off topic this time. I know I go off topic sometimes, but shush. But oh my god, I love this sprite! Okay. So, if it's not very obvious, it's my sprite. I have a texture pack. Link in the description, it just got an update. I originally didn't know how I felt about this sprite, but I think I did a wonderful job on it actually. It's so cool, I love the galaxy design. Next, the Ponage Hammer. It turns the Pwn Hammer into a powerful melee weapon that throws large hammers at enemies. I have a soft spot for this weapon, as it carried me through the last time I tried Calamity, so we'll use it for a little bit. Before we grab the true Excalibur, however, we had to give to a friend. Shit. It's been like 2 weeks since I'm still tearing up a bit. With a heavy heart and more than a few tears, we put the Soul Scythe up. Forever immortalizing its spot as one of the most influential weapons of our run. Honestly, if there was like a gold weapon rack, I'd put it on that. Because, oh my god, that thing carried last month. We also put up the Mycelium Whip and Dragon's Talon on the wall beside it, because although the Mycelium Whip wasn't with us for long, it basically saved us against Cryogen, while the Dragon's Talon was the king of crowd control and kept our distance from tougher fights. Okay. Now we make our way underground to Horrify. We use it to make a full set of Horrify armor for our fishing/wasteland set. True Excalibur, just called Excalibur, since I made Etheria into Excalibur and the texture pack, it's a whole thing. The Biome Blade, which we just didn't end up using because it really isn't all that good, and some Chlorophyte tools. The Jackhammer's cool. I like the Jackhammer. With all of that out of the way, we make our way back to the desert to make the Steampunk's workshop, as that's the last house we need before the Martian Madness event gives us the Martian Saucer. Now that we have the Steampunker, we can use cogs to make a very mechanical inside to contrast our sandy exterior. We'll fill it with various books and tools, sadly not the Contaminator since it doesn't work on weapon racks for some reason, while adding a nice marble flooring to add some contrast. I like it. Not super workshop-y, but it's fitting for her, so I'll leave it and come back to it if I think of something better. While you end off stream,
the idiot tied up and thrown through the curb like the garbage he is.
The aggressive bungee ice rod video, because he was in chat and it was something we were joking about. And building an alchemy shop and boutique in the underground village. Both aren't super extravagant, but they fit the theming of the other houses and make good additions to the now completed town. I'll figure out a name for it, but as of right now, I can't really think of much. Okay, so like editing Rachel here, I did just realize I never actually said the names for the desert or underground towns at any point during this, but I did end up thinking of names for them. The desert town's called Pharaoh's Curse because of the funny pyramid, and I decided to name the underground town Hallowforge. I meant to put them in the script, but I don't know, I'm tired, so I'm just putting it at the end. Hell yeah. Awesome, and pretty cool even. Okay, move on to week 3. was what I wanted Monday stream last week to be. Boss killing. With the destroyer now dead, we have free reign of the rest of the bosses as they shouldn't cut my sound off. I was gonna start with Lich due to a weird inconsistency with Thorium boss's reworked and overhaul making him invisible, but he proved me wrong immediately by cutting my sound off. We'll save him for when we build the graveyard town so that there's at least something to look at during said silent fight. We decided to move on and fight the Calamitas Clone instead. We're no longer in the Calamity boss's Fargo made good portion of the game, so this was ridiculously easy. I honestly spent the entire time barely paying attention and just cracking unique AI jokes with chat, since this entire fight is just Twins AI with a bullet hell or two thrown in. I almost died at the end, actually, for said lack of tension, but we quickly finished it off afterwards. Next up, we decided to do the Abandoned Lab. Neither of the fights here have much to talk about, but we did manage to sequence break into the Protector Vault fight, since for some reason their run of Discord is working here. Pretty sure it's bugged, as it worked during the Cosmic Voyages we did later on, but whatever. Abandoned Lab's fun, but the fights are pretty simple, since, I mean, they are just mini-bosses at the end of the day. Next up was Pentasilia. I hope I pronounced that right. The Witch of Ink. I have no idea what's going on, which has become a consistent theme throughout the series, it seems. The attacks aren't the worst to dodge, but there is this one attack where she'll cover the screen in a few colors and you need to stand in the one that matches the color she painted you in. The issue is that it says the colors in chat, and I wasn't looking there, so I didn't notice until after the fight. After this, we got a new Stellar Nova called the Garden of Avalon. Remember the Guardian's Light I said I was, like, not going to get rid of? Scratch that. It summons a large pillar to heal 100 HP and give a large boost to health and mana regeneration, as well as 4 seconds of invincibility. If you get a critical cast with it, you even get an effect like the Hallowed Armor to absorb an attack without taking damage. Forget what I said about Guardian's Light. We'll be using this for a long time. It's the perfect support Nova for us. It's got a bunch of stuff to help with our already beefy defense. Aquatic Scourge got shredded. Like, it didn't get the double HP for some reason, but it literally wouldn't have mattered. It got shredded almost immediately with True Excalibur. Next! A marginally more difficult boss fight was the Brimstone Elemental. It's a lot of projectiles, but not anything we couldn't tank or dodge. We died the first time because the lasers are powerful, but came back and beat her on attempt 2. Like I said, not too bad. Though Fargo did apparently, while I'm editing this video, put out the Fargo, put out the Fargo version of it. I haven't seen it yet. We're gonna see it during the June streams. The last boss of the day was the Lifelight. This is the challenger fight from Fargo's that I'm the worst at. I love the Banished Baron, and the Trojan Squirrel is, I mean, it's the first boss you're meant to fight, so yeah, naturally those would be much easier than this one. I spent the first while of the fight slowly learning it from the hollow to our arena. I wanted to spawn it there instead of putting a fountain down for the challenge of walking it all the way back to spawn. You know, like a dog. And I somehow did it. Then it was honestly a pretty standard fight. Its HP reached 0 before mine. It wasn't particularly easy, just not super noteworthy, as the attacks just don't do enough damage to be threatening. I mean, we are sitting here with just over 140 defense and 30% damage reduction. We are the literal definition of a tank. Or I guess closer to the definition of power armor. Ooh, I should make power armor. Sorry, I will stop going off script. Finally, we took some time to do some Cosmic Voyages, because I just remembered that the Celiclip exists, and we can get the Tier 3 version. I went to 3 areas: the Dreaming City, the Faint Archives, and the Fallen Fahrenheit. The first one we visited was the Dreaming City. It was this massive, beautiful city of marble inhabited by these enemies enshrouded in darkness, as a nice little contrast. It was beautiful, so beautiful in fact, I didn't notice the place wasn't quote-unquote safe. And I'm not meaning the enemies by that. As I explored, something began to watch us and take notice of us. One day say evil presence was watching us. Okay, I'll shut up. Eventually, after some waiting when we noticed the debuff, we were transported to Calamitas, home of arbitration. It's a boss fight that we can't fight until August, but I want to try my hand against it while we're here. We got it down to 50k before I left, so as to not accidentally kill it. but it's good to know that we'll be more than ready for it when the time comes. The other two areas didn't have as much to note, but both look very cool, and were very nice to explore. We also were helping Geraldine throughout all of this, as I felt bad about forgetting to return to her in March with an actuator. Overall, a great day today, and one that sets us up for the rest of the month very nicely. 4 eyes. Yeah, I have glasses now, so you'll be seeing Miss 4 Eyes from now on. I can actually see fine without them, funnily enough, but they have blue light blocking on them anyway, so I might as well keep them on. That's entirely besides the point, though. I can talk about my prescription some other time. Because today is another building day! We still have NPC prisons to get rid of, and I want to really crack down on them this month. Right after grabbing a new town slime and messing with a shimmer, that is. Oh, and after getting a new NPC, Kata, because we added a new challenge fight right after Moonlord. Look up Cataclysmic Armageddon. A really cool dude. Highly recommend. If you're watching this, hi Kata! Oh, okay, now we crack down on housing. We start with building a few small bridges before getting to the main event. Today, I wanted to focus on our graveyard. It doesn't have a pylon, but it'll be where we fight Lich eventually, so may as well make it look nice since our sound's likely gonna get cut out if Monday was any indication. This took up the bulk of the stream, with me making 4 of the 6 houses I wanted to make. I started with a large church. I made its palette themed around contrasts of light and dark. I think I did good. It doesn't look nearly as good without the graveyard filter, as the hallowed bricks are way too yellow, but it'll always be under a graveyard, so it doesn't actually matter. This will eventually house the Lunatic Cultist and Moonlord in August. Next, we built some supplementary housing for the Eater of Worlds and Brain of Cthulhu. For the Eater, I wanted something that looked like the Eater burrowed in and made a home of an area underground. I'm quite proud of it, actually. I don't tend to use Legion blocks, so it was a nice change of pace. For the Brain, I made the house first and put him in there second, and it definitely shows. I just wanted a rundown house there for decor, and the Brain just fit it the best. So I added some flesh blocks and crimping to the house to better fit its theming. I plan on eventually going back and finishing the houses later, but I don't really know what I want to make for the Mothron or Pumpkin yet, and I will likely use spooky wood instead of petrified wood for them anyway. But for now, I quite like it. I'll call it Saint's Grave. Partially due to the church, and partially due to the Grave of Saints being a quirky area in Dark Souls 2. I haven't figured out any names for the other towns yet. Editor note, watch earlier. But I thought this one fit too well to not use. We ended off the stream with another quick project, repairing the Crag Bridge. You see, there's this large bridge in the Brimstone Crags that's been destroyed, likely due to age. I wanted to patch it up and possibly build some housing there for the Wall of Flesh and the Torch God, as those are the only NPCs that can survive the fires of hell as far as I know, since there is a Brimstone Crags pylon I wasn't aware of until recently. I'll eventually build mini bases for the others as well, like leaving the Martian and Saucer in the Astral Infection and the Pirate/Sea King in the Sunken Sea. But for now, that's not something to worry about. This bridge, luckily, did not take an entire month. We ended off stream a little early because I didn't really want to start something and not finish it. Today was another graveyard day. I didn't really actually know what I wanted to build next, so I decided to spend today working on a thick outer wall for Saint's Grave. With a similar contrasting twist on light and dark, while also incorporating standard Aetherian architecture going on, I think it pulled it off well. This also gives us a nicely defined city limit for the future housing we'll be building for Mothron of the Pumpkin in July. Along the way, my eyes really started to hurt due to the flashing lights of the graveyard, so we put on an Aether monolith which remained on for the rest of the stream. This took most of the stream, and I wanted to do one last thing before we ended it off. Lich. We never actually beat it back on Monday due to the sound issues, as I said before, and I wanted revenge. Plus, if I get it done now, then I don't need to make yet another montage for this video. Because, I don't know, it just would feel unnecessary. This fight was super fast paced, but I began to learn his patterns, especially once phase 2 hits. There are only 2 attacks that pose a real threat to our wall of a character. The dash attacks he does in phase 1 and 2 give Marked for Death. This makes me take a whopping 50% extra damage, and I'm bound to get hit during the hectic attacks of this fight, leading to tons of unnecessarily high damage taken. The other are these lanterns he throws out. He throws out 4 in phase 1, but only 1 in phase 2. This is for good reason though, as touching these lanterns gives Fused. Once the debuff runs out, you take 2/3 of your maximum HP and damage. In base eternity mode, this is only given to you by kobolds of all things, for a 30-second timer. So seeing it here with a 5-second timer is worrying. Regardless, the pattern is fairly simple once you get used to it, and even with Overhaul's janky flying controls, we can dance around the boss enough to get adrenaline. This would cause a massive burst of damage, and if we use it at an opportune time, we can just wail on Lich with Excalibur. After 3 attempts, Lich goes down and we can end off week 3 triumphant. As I've been saying, I wanted a good chunk of this month to basically just be building. With Lich dead, there's now nothing stopping us from doing whatever the hell we want to do. Today, I wanted to get some more builds done. We started by decorating the dungeon. I made it a 2-story build with some small amenities. It's nothing special, but Skeletor's probably happy to have so much space to live in all by his lonesome. So like after this, we're gonna go to the next build, because as I said, I want to get some builds done. Right, Rachel? Rachel? Rachel, no! Rachel, no! No, we screwed around. This is an issue with building dreams for me, actually, where I'll do random things instead of actually bothering to build. Undiagnosed ADHD will do that to an MFer. Today, we decided to mess around with the Eidolon worm for a bit, of all things. It's something to really talk about, but I was able to survive like an entire minute once, which is cool. This led to a chain of events, however, that caused me to spend an hour adding loadout mannequins to the armory. Now, each of my main 3 loadouts has 2 versions of itself, with the ones not used placed on the 5 mannequins. Obviously, we have my main loadout. But now my mining and building loadouts have been split to give myself better building and mining capabilities. You'll probably recognize the building design. Wink wink, nudge nudge, anyone who's watched the last videos. I also made a chlorophyte pickaxe and I placed it in a crate close by to take advantage of the mining build's high boost to mining speed. I'll still use the drill most of the time, but we have the pickaxe for long mining sessions now. We've also split our wasteland and diving and fishing loadouts. Both are now more specialized for their certain builds, and it let me finally make Xenomite armor for the wasteland setup, so it feels like the kind of set you'd use to explore the wasteland, even without the helmet since it's buggy with Overhaul. Helm, if you're watching this, do you know how to make glow maps move when you look? Because if so, please do that. It, like, bugs me with the armor. Anyways, the diving armor is honestly a personal highlight to me. I recently redid my hallowed armor, and I'm very proud of it. And it worked so well with the brown dye. Finally, we have a setup for the Cosmic Voyages. Obviously, there's the boss fight that we've already talked about, Arbitration, that we can't fight for a while. It was cool to make a new vanity for my main setup, as a nice little flair for when we eventually go over there. After that, we finally got to building. I wanted to start on the jungle today. First, I built a small temple into a tree for the Dryad, with a greenhouse for the Druid nearby. Next month, I want to build a lizard temple for the Witch Doctor after killing Golem, and want to eventually build a concert hall for the Empress of Light, Plantera, and Golem as well, since they canonically make a band together with the Boss's NPC mod. The Cultist also joins, but the church just fit too well. To end off the stream, we made Home Depot. We made Home Depot, yes. We have 2 building NPCs, so it felt warranted. Finding the block palette was honestly what took the longest, but we eventually finished it and ended today fairly satisfied. Is it super anticlimactic to say that today's stream only lasted about 2 hours? The recording only being about 90 minutes? I was just really tired today, I'm gonna be honest. If you've been looking at my community posts, I think this was roughly the start of the whole burnout thing I've been going on with. I guess also just kind of like generally this week. It was before this, but I was trying to power through it. Anyways, we started by getting the Bionomic Cluster before doing some Stellar Voyages. Neither were extremely interesting, but I mean they did happen. Then, already feeling the fatigue, decided to just build a little more before ending off this week. I made a little artist shack for the painter and started building some towers and walls before fatigue finally kicked in. I had to call it. Not a super interesting way to end May, especially with some unfinished builds. But we regardless decide to log off after 435 in-game days and 170 hours and 26 minutes. So, again, for anyone who's new, I just talk about the conclusion unscripted because why not? Thank you for all of this, I guess. Going into Pride Month, I'm optimistic, even if this month didn't have too many streams, and one of them was pretty low and slow. But you know what? We got some good building done, and we're already getting another armor upgrade. We're going to upgrade our armor to the post-golem version. of our old one's army armor. So that'll be fun. I also actually recently went ahead and redid that armor set in preparation for this. So yeah, if you want to use that for yourself, my palette pack is in the description on all my videos, and it very recently got an update. So definitely check it out. Anyways, glad we're finally getting rid of some of these stupid NPC prisons. Something I kept telling myself I was going to do, and they just kind of never did. If you guys are curious what I'm going to do with Kata now that Kata is in Aetheria canonically, Kata is getting built in a Waffle House in the nuke we blew up. Not the wasteland biome, but like, you know, there's like the large empty circle near the abyss. Yeah, Kata's going there. I'm just gonna chuck Kata there. It'll be really funny. Probably. I think it's funny. We're gonna do that, and then we're gonna fill it all up with shimmer. Kata's, I asked Kata what biome he wanted to be built, he wanted his house to be built in. And he said he really likes the Aether. But then my friend Kyle thought it'd be really funny to build a Waffle House and put Kata in there. And so we decided to combine the ideas in some weird mishmash of the two by drowning his house in shimmer and giving him a Waffle House. Because why not? I just now realized I didn't talk a whole lot about the actual month in this conclusion. Yeah, month was fine. Building fun. Pretty standard month, all things considered. We just got a lot of good stuff later, early on. And then it was pretty standard building after that. I think June's gonna be pretty similar as well. I kind of want to breeze through the bosses this month as well to give us time to build. I need to change a pace from, I guess, large building projects and whatnot. So I think doing some smaller things, some nice small projects, and not worrying so much about boss fights as well will be pretty nice. Maybe we'll even do some, I guess, like practical things. Maybe we'll work on building a mob grinder I'll never use, or getting some banners. I don't know. Could be interesting. We'll figure out what we're gonna do. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, sub, comment, and a huge thank you to my Aetherian Castellan Toyu. If you want to get your name at the end of each video, get either Aetherian Paladin or Aetherian Castellan. But if you don't care about that, you can support me for as low as $1 a month, or even just do super thanks. YouTube told me this month that 96% of my viewers are new, but you know, I didn't see a 96% increase in subscribers, so I'm just saying, we gotta get them numbers up. I'm just saying that as your queen, as Queen Rachel of Aetheria herself, you're legally obligated to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow my Twitch. That's also in the description. But that one doesn't matter as much because I just stream there and I don't make videos for Twitch because, you know, Twitch doesn't really do videos. Anyways, yeah. Is it obvious I have undiagnosed ADHD? Like, this is something I've, like, really been thinking about lately. People talking to the whole thing about how I think I got misdiagnosed and I definitely have ADHD because I just fit into too much of the stuff for inattentive ADHD with some levels of hyperactivity. I don't know. It's interesting. But whatever. I will let you guys go. I've been sitting here just talking into a microphone. Shit, I have to put this onto a video. I have to edit this all together. Whatever. If you guys are watching this, hi. Sorry this video took so long to get out, as I said when I was talking about week 4, stream 2. Burnout's been kicking my ass. I have basically wanted to do nothing but sit around all day and play New Vegas. Hell, a lot of times it's not even playing New Vegas, I just want to lie down. I literally slept over 12 hours today. Very fun. Hell, I'm recording this on Sunday, June 2nd at 5:12. Y'all can tell me when this video comes out, even though, of course, I'll know when this video comes out. Hope to get this out to you guys by Tuesday. So for channel members, for Aetherian Paladins Castellans, that'll be Monday. You guys will see it. But yeah, I hope to get this out on Tuesday for you guys. Just planning on getting it out by Friday for the public, and then Burnout. Then I plan on getting it out Monday for the public, Burnout. So I'm not putting too much stress on myself to edit together clips tonight. I'm just gonna record this voiceover and go to bed. I literally just have to record. I literally still put together the clips for weeks 3 and 4 now. Why am I even saying all this? I'm just padding out the runtime, aren't I? This video's long enough. If you guys did watch to the end, though, thank you very much. I don't know. Do you guys like this, like, weird rambling I do at the end of my videos sometimes? Do you guys like this, or should I just not? Should I just not treat this like it's a YouTube stream? Should like the video that it is, or whatever. I don't know. It's gonna be in the video anyway, because Lord knows I'm not gonna have the energy to cut this out. Yeah, I guess I'll finally let you guys go. I already said the whole spiel about the memberships and everything. If you're on my Twitch, you can subscribe to my Twitch, actually, and you'll get all the same benefits as Aetherian Paladin, which is the $5 tier on YouTube. So, yeah. Don't really know what else to say. Just hoping to get streams back to somewhat normal this week. At least easing back into it with Modded Terraria Experience. Maybe I'll do a staggered thing. Maybe I'll just do like 2, 2, 2, 2. Just have 8 streams this week instead of doing the 10 I keep trying to shoot for. I mean, this month was only 7 because of the audio issues and then burnout. Also, I want to say this right now. It's not like burnout specifically for MTE. MTE is a big part of my life at this point due to like how much I have to spend streaming and editing it. Like, it's not something I ever like just like put thought into. I put the amount of hours into this as a part-time job. I stream like on usually if I'm in like I guess good. Like if I'm not, you know, like right now, I can put in like 15, 16 hours a week into streaming. Factor in the time I spend editing. Like I've been editing for a solid 4 hours now, just trying to get myself to do voiceover. Like I put in the time for a part-time job, and that's really weird to think about. Jesus. Whatever. I'm gonna stop thinking about that. I've been speaking for about another 4 minutes since I said I was gonna stop. Might make myself a sandwich, might not. Regardless, I'm going to bed. I'm gonna go sleep for another 12 hours, wake up groggy, and go play New Vegas. Okay. Thank you for listening to my rant. Bye now.